So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start in a very simple seated position on the floor with your legs crossed. Now, ideally, you'd be able to get your legs fully crossed so you can kind of sit up nice and tall through your spine, rolling your shoulders back and down and just creating some length through your spine. We're just going to begin by starting with some spinal circles, taking some deep breaths in and out, just starting to move that energy down in the abdominal region. And you're going to just make a nice big circle coming forward with your chest and gently leaning back with your torso. All the way around, spiraling, and you can pause and gently rotate the other direction. Remembering to activate your breath as you're doing these poses. Coming back to center here, you're going to sit up nice and tall. You're going to place your hands on the front of your knees. As you do that, you're going to lean back, round through your spine, draw your chin into your chest, and just feel that nice deep pull across the upper back and the shoulders, maybe even into the back of your neck. Take a big breath in here. Exhale, leaning back. Then on your next inhale, you're going to pull your heart forward, tilting your head back, looking up, getting a little length and arch through the spine. Then exhale, we're going to lean back and round again. We're going to just rock that boat back and forth here. Waking up all of those muscles in the back. Waking up that energy sitting at the base of the spine. Good. And then you're going to rise back up to a nice neutral, soft spine here in the center. We're going to take a moment and inhale, float both arms up overhead. Bring those palms together and exhale, draw your hands down into your heart with your chin to your chest. Again, inhale, float those arms up, opening the shoulders. Feel that you're gathering some positive energy, and exhale, draw it down into your heart, chin to chest. So you're bowing to your inner self, your inner light. Inhale those arms up. Exhale, take a moment, draw your hands together, palms pressing firmly together. Then you're going to take your thumbs and press them up against your breastbone. Here you want to draw your shoulders back, draw your chin down, close your eyes for a moment. Here's an opportunity to just find your center, breathing into it. This is a wonderful opportunity to set a little intention for the day, whatever that may be, whatever it might be that you're struggling with at this point in your life, or that you want to cultivate more of. You can just drop it like a little seed into your heart space. Breathe it in. And then as you exhale, you're going to interlace your fingers, press your palms forward here. Lean back again. You're going to round through your back and draw your chin into your chest. This is wonderful for opening up in between the shoulder blades, those rhomboid muscles that get really tight throughout the day. Then as you come forward, lengthen the spine, press those palms up, gently look up at your hands. As you exhale, you're going to let your right hand float out to the side, and then let your left arm float up by your ear, opening up the side body. Inhale, float both arms up, back to the center. Exhale, that left arm down, reach that right arm up and over to the side. Side body stretch. Big breath. Inhale, float those arms back up. Exhale, we're going to take both hands and reaching forward. Gently relax your head, neck, and shoulders. Here you can let gravity just give a nice pull to your body, walking your fingertips out and away from you. Taking a couple deep breaths. So this not only stretches your back, but it also gets down into your hips, which, as we know in the morning, can be extra stiff. So we'll take another moment to just breathe deeply into that space. Then we can start to rock a little side to side, rocking into your upper back, your shoulders, and then slowly walk your hands back in, rising back up. Here we can draw those shoulders up towards the ears and back and down a couple times. Nice shoulder rolls. Excellent. Now we're going to go ahead and flip over onto all fours. Coming up onto all fours, just spreading your fingertips nice and wide. Hands under your shoulders, knees directly under your hips. You're going to tuck your toes under gently here. As we begin to find our cow pose, you're going to let your belly button drop towards the floor, lifting your head, looking up with your inhale. Now, I like to take a moment here in this cow pose and just really feel into that lower back. You can even start to sit your hips back a little towards your heels. And then as you come forward, you're going to begin to press the tops of your feet down, round through your spine, bring your chin into your chest, and just push the floor away in your cat pose. Now again, hold it here for a moment. Same thing. Gently start to draw your hips down towards your heels just a little bit. You're going to really start to feel that in the lower back. And then inhale, come up again. Here we're going to transition. Tuck those toes under. Let that belly button come towards the floor. Look up into your cow pose. Now we can free flow back and forth between the two. Exhale, lift and round, cat pose. Inhale, arch the spine, looking up into that cow pose. We'll do a couple more back and forth with your breath. So this is something that is so good for your back in the morning. This is like one of the most rejuvenating things you can do for your spine to wake up in the morning. Just get everything loosened up. Not only that, it's affecting your central nervous system, your breathing, your digestion. Overall, it's fantastic. Then you're going to bring your spine back to neutral. Relax those feet. Then we're going to take a nice circle into the wrists and the knees. So just circling around, getting into those joints. Let your body come forward, side, back, side, forward. Shifting your weight. This is really great to get those knees loosened up. And then you can take it the other direction. And then arrive back to center point. Now we're going to prepare for our child's pose. We're going to separate the knees a little wider. Ideally, if your knees can go to the corners of the outside edges of your mat, that's great. If not, listen to your body, how you feel this morning. Do what you can. You're going to bring your big toes touching just lightly. Then you're going to start to push your hips back over your heels. Let the weight of your hips sink back. As you gently start to walk both hands forward out in front, soften the elbows, and then you're going to let your forehead rest to the mat. As your head is resting on the mat, you can start to deeply breathe into all of your back space. Think about breathing into the back side of your ribs. You can feel into the expansion and contraction of all the muscles in your back. And this is a wonderful way to set the tone for your nervous system, for that parasympathetic nervous system response of this rest and digest, this calming and soothing pose, to kind of allow that to sink into your day. So you can slip into your day with this balanced state of mind and carry it with you. Then from here, you're going to just start to rock a little side to side into your shoulders. You can feel into the shoulder joints here if they're stiff. Then I like to look forward, and as I'm looking forward, I'm going to slowly walk my hands over to one side, just enough that I can feel the stretch in one shoulder. Then I'm going to let the weight of my head rest into that arm, and it's going to really give a nice lengthening all down that back side and shoulder. Breathing into it, maybe 2 or 3 breaths. Then you're going to walk those hands over to the other side. Again, letting the weight of your head gently rest into that arm, helping aid in that opening up of that side body. Good, bringing those hands back to center. Now from here, we're going to gently pull ourselves forward onto the forearms. You want to have those forearms just under your shoulders. You're going to start to extend both legs back behind you, coming into Sphinx pose. So just having those forearms under your shoulders, palms facing down, tops of the feet flat into the mat. You're going to gently press a little bit into those forearms, lengthen up through the crown of your head, eyes forward. Now relax your shoulders. Try not to collapse, but we're holding the integrity of this pose by gently pressing through the elbows and the forearms, yet still lengthening up through the top of your head. Breathing into it again, opening up that lower back. Then we're going to start to come down onto the forearms. You're going to make a little pillow with your hands and rest your head to one side. Again, another restorative pose for your nervous system. It just feels really good to be able to lie with your tummy on the floor. It just is a nice way to kind of reset. Even though we're starting the day this way, it's a good thing to start your day with balance. And so here we can just bend the knees, let the feet float up, circle into your ankles. Just get some nice movement throughout those ankles. Then letting those feet, what I call windshield wipers, side to side. Together they just float back and forth, side to side. Then you can let those feet gently come back down to the floor, lifting your head, turning it to the other side. So this gives a nice stretch to your neck. Relax the head back down for a few more breaths. Just letting the weight of your body sink into the floor. You can always find those little pockets of stillness when your breath is really balanced, your mind is calm. Then from here, we're going to gently look forward. We're going to take both hands, place them next to your shoulders. Spread those fingers wide for a nice base. And we're going to gently press up into our cobra pose, our back bend. Now, listen to your body. If you don't feel that you can come all the way up into the pose, just hold it halfway. Just go where your body tells you to go, listening to it, breathing into it. And the thing about Cobra Pose is it hits some different points in your back. So the higher you go, the deeper it goes into the lower back. But when you lower yourself down, that bend starts to come up into the upper back. So kind of depending on where you're more tight, you can kind of play with that a little bit and see what feels better for you today. Good. Then when you're done with that, we're going to go ahead and let those arms fall down by your sides and turn your head to one side and release it. So this is where it feels really good. After you've done the pose, you just let the muscles soften and release. It's like the recovery point. And here is where you might even get like a sensory experience where the muscles are kind of tingling and it feels good. It's like the blood's been pushed into the area, it kind of, and then moves everything, and then everything releases, like a flushing effect for the body. Then we're going to bring those hands next to the shoulders again. We're going to press up, and then we're going to go ahead and press back into child's pose once more. Just a nice fluid movement. Press your hips back over your heels, resting your forehead to the floor. Nice breath here. Then we can make our way up to a seated position. So we can just flip over, extending both legs out in front. So, of course, if you're like super tight in your hamstrings and it's like, you know, you're like rocked back here, grab a towel or a blanket and just place it under your seat bones to give yourself a little lift and leverage. That really helps. Also, you can soften your knees. Your back of your knees don't have to be glued to the floor. Because what happens is if you glue your knees to the floor and you try and reach forward, it actually restricts your ability to get deeper into the stretch. So you want to find this perfect balance between hinging forward at the hip, so you get the back stretch as well as the hamstring stretch. That's a whole back side of the body stretch here. So then we're going to inhale, reach those arms up. Exhale, take that forward fold. If you can get a hold of those toes, awesome. If not, just reach it forward as much as you can. If you've got any shoulder issues that you can't reach forward, just let your hands rest alongside the outside of your legs. Let the weight of your head be what pulls you forward. So again, we're just surrendering to gravity in this pose. Inhaling and exhaling, releasing. Slowly making your way back up. Take a moment, roll those shoulders back and down. Here we're going to find our side twist. So I'm going to take this right leg, I'm going to lift it up, and I'm going to cross it over. Getting seated up on my seat bones, I'm going to take my left arm and grab hold of my right leg, rotate. I'm going to try and pull the belly in, bringing one hand behind, rotate looking over the shoulder. Here we want to think about lengthening through the spine. We don't want to collapse into the pose. It's so easy to just kind of round ourselves forward and not really find the stretch. But if we sit up and feel as though there's a string at the top of our head and it's pulling us up towards the ceiling or the sky, then we can rotate into the spine and then really find that stretch in the outer hips, the lower back, upper back, neck. Then as we exhale, we're going to slowly release that twist. Very gently, always being careful and mindful of your neck. Extend that right leg out, bringing that other leg in, cross it over. Finding your seat bones, sitting up tall. Using that right arm. Give it a good squeeze, lift, twist, looking over your shoulder. Breathing. So this pose is really nice for kind of massaging the internal organs and the abdomen. This helps aid in our digestion, which is also helpful. I find if I do this routine before eating breakfast, I feel a lot better throughout the day. Because sometimes the first thing we want to do is we want to just go and eat breakfast, and then we want to get about our day, and then we might feel like kind of more sluggish or tired. But if we can get a little yoga in before, and all that circulation's going, the blood's going, digestion's activated, then when we go to eat, it's almost like our body utilizes the food better. And we carry that energy more throughout the day. Good, and then we're going to release that twist, coming back. And let that leg go. Here we're going to bring the hands back behind us, fingers facing forward, bending the knees, place your feet flat on the floor. So my feet are about hip distance apart. I want to lift up through my chest, and then I'm just going to let the knees fall side to side, looking over my opposite shoulder. Then I'm going to rotate the knees to the other side, looking over the opposite shoulder. Just going back and forth, side to side. This is a lovely move to loosen up the lower back. Any tension, tightness, we are getting into it now. Good. And then from here, we can take a little tabletop. We're going to press into the hands and feet, lift the hips up, and exhale, lower it back down. And then we're going to go ahead and find our way back to our seated position. Take a moment with your legs crossed. We're going to stretch up nice and tall, find those seat bones. We're going to place the hands right palms facing up, one upon the other. Lengthening through your neck, softening the shoulders. Here we're going to take one hand, we're going to inhale, float it up overhead, then exhale, float it down the center line. Centering ourselves, calming the heart, as they say. Then inhale the other arm up, exhale it down the center line. You can close your eyes and just draw all your attention to what you're doing. We'll do that one more time on each side. Inhale, float that arm up. Exhale, centering. Inhale, float the other arm up. Exhale, draw it down the center line, centering. Now this next time we're going to float both arms up. Big breath in. Exhale, feel that you're gathering positive energy, and exhale, bringing the palms together down into your heart. Taking a moment with the eyes closed, the palms firmly pressed against each other. Feeling that you're centered, balanced, and ready for the day. Thanking yourself for taking the time to do this practice, and that it will largely benefit you for this day and the coming days. And as we bow to that inner wisdom, namaste. So, thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope that you continue to join me for different yoga poses and other different spiritual activities that are going on at the Path of Light. And don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.